Hi everyone, it's Sal Jade and I have been having some technical issues and I'm hoping this is working now and I'm actually broadcasting live into Tarot Mastery. If you are in Tarot Mastery and I'm appearing live, can you please say yes that you are here? One of the joys of Facebook is they suddenly change rules without you knowing, and so suddenly all the settings that are usually how I can broadcast live were not working. But now it looks like I am in the group and I can see people, so thank you. If you are here, just let me know where you are from and thank you for joining me today. Hi Annie. Anyone else who is watching the replay, just put hashtag replay so that I know that you are here, and if you are asking questions along the way, then please do know I'll get back to them after the replay, or if you're asking them live, hello Carlo, then I will get to those at the end of the seminar. So I've got some really exciting subjects to share with you today, some that I've never talked about before, as well as some really exciting news around a request that has been made for a very long time by many very patient students. So thank you, that I will share at the end of this as well. Hello Marcy, thank you for your patience in me getting in. I'm 15 minutes late thanks to new Facebook rules. Thank you. So I'm going to talk today about looking at when I will read for myself and when I won't. So I often get asked this question by people saying, should tarot readers read for themselves? And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And so I want to explain for you when I choose to read for myself and when I won't. I'm also going to be exploring the 3 most common questions that you can get asked as a tarot reader and why they are not great questions for the tarot, or 3 most common questions that people want asked and why it's not good to answer them. I'm going to share for you one really powerful business tip for those of you who want to run an online business program or an online business on its own, and I want to share with you one particular product that is absolutely free, that is probably one of my biggest game changers in saving me time and money in my business. I'm going to talk a bit about that today as well, and I'm going to explore the 7 of Swords in much greater detail, because this is one that often comes up for people that they get a bit confused or intimidated or scared by, and so I want to share with you why you shouldn't be afraid of the 7 of Swords. Okay, so before I start, I just want to thank, as always, all of the wonderful students that have taken the time to review Tarot Card Success, or my new course, Master Multiple Choice Tarot Readings with Confidence, or any of the courses that I have. Thank you so much for taking the time to review them. It means so much to me that you are supporting the Sal Jade business, but also that you are allowing other students to see what courses work for them potentially. So thank you. So Echo Gennaro, Brandy Trahan, Bree I can't say that, sorry. Tamarinas, that's a great name, and anyone else who has posted a review in the last month or so, thank you so much. It means the world to me. So let's get started by talking about the idea of when a tarot a reader should read for someone, or should they read for themselves. And there's a lot of mythology around this. People often ask this question. They say to me, oh, I've heard I shouldn't read for myself, or I should, and maybe a true reader will only read under the full moon or when they don't have their periods, or all these kind of myths. My rule of thumb is that if it feels good and it feels right and you are not harming anyone, then there is no should not, could not for me. When it comes to I've known many professional readers, and some of them genuinely will not read for themselves. They don't like to do it. They feel like they're too attached to it, and they won't. But many of them do. For me, hello Jill, how are you? Gil, sorry, reading properly that. For me, I will read for myself as long as I am not too emotionally distressed about an issue. And as always, as long as I haven't just asked that question 3 days ago. So I will read for myself, but I will also be aware that even if you're always going to be a little bit emotionally attached to an issue, otherwise why would you be doing a reading? But I'm also aware that my emotional imbalances can impact upon the cards. And sometimes I need to look at them and step back. I will always say this to you: if you are having a really rough, dark night of the soul, then a tarot reading might not be the best thing for you. Like playing with oracle cards might be much, much better, because the tarot reading is going to give you some tough love. And tough love, or, say the next 6 months is going to be feeling like you're being tortured and it feels like hell. If you are already in some state of depression or crying or really upset, then a healing or playing with oracle cards might be something much better for you. So when I know that I am at my cathartic worst, which, does happen, I'm like, okay, I'm going to pull out the oracle cards and I will sort of say who's meant to be with me, whether they be angels or ascended masters or gods and goddesses, just because the tarot might be ready to kick my butt and say, hey, you're going to have to do some of this. And I'm like, I don't want to do anything else. I'm in pain. Just give me good answers. And as we all know, as readers, sometimes the tarot is not going to give us good answers. It's going to give us some tough love. So I'm very aware of whatever is going on in my hormones, what's going on with the full moon, if I've had a recent shock or tragedy. These are times when I will tend to not read for myself. They also often talk about eclipses, which you've got coming up soon. Again, don't say, Sal said never read under an eclipse, it's a bad thing. Things like charging your crystals and things like doing readings can just get a bit wobbly during eclipses. That's all. It doesn't mean never do it, but just be conscious that it's a bit wobbly. It's something I would be aware of. Also retrograde Mercuries. Now, obviously, again, you can't say, well, I'm not going to give readings during retrograde Mercury, because we have 3 of those a year and they go for like a month. That's like a quarter of your year in income gone. So, you can, but just be conscious that sometimes messages are a bit mixed. Communication between you and your client might be a bit mixed. Just be a little bit extra conscious and of how you're phrasing the questions is what I would recommend for that. So I hope that's helped anyone who's always a bit like, when do I, should I read for myself? Absolutely, read for yourself, but be aware that sometimes you might be too attached to an issue and it might start to do your head in a bit. And please, as always, don't read for yourself constantly. It's one of my constant things I see with people. They say, oh, I got this reading from someone and then 2 days later I did my own reading and it's a different answer. What's the right answer? The right answer is usually the first answer. Don't go back and ask again. Like, give it time to play out and give it time for you to learn the lesson and take the action steps that the tarot has asked you to take. So I hope that's helped anyone who's had that issue or question. So the next thing I want to talk about is the 3 most common questions that I see people in Facebook groups or that people ask me for their help with that really shouldn't be answered by the tarot. Now, I have recently joined a tarot group called Tarot India, which is really interesting and I really love being in there, but I'm not exaggerating when I say that I think 3 in every 5 posts are people saying, what does he feel about me? Different people, not the same person. What does he think about me? Those kind of questions, as those of you who have done my love readings course, and if you're getting this question a lot from clients or you're curious about how to answer it, I do recommend that you go and look at my love readings course, because I've got a whole massive section on how to better answer those questions. But asking what does someone feel about you or what does someone think about you is just not an appropriate question for the tarot, for the simple reason, A, it is a little bit spying on someone, so ethically it's not a great question. But B, and I've seen this in these Facebook groups, you will get 50 different opinions of what a tarot card means about what someone feels about you. It's a very strange, nuanced question. Like, how does someone else feel about this person? And I'm doing the reading for them. So it's like Queen of Pentacles, if you get that. Oh, so they think you're good with money. Is that going to help you? If you're someone who's currently heartbroken and the person that you are liking hasn't reached out to you for 2 weeks and you're wondering if there's a future in the relationship, does it help you to know that this person thinks that you are someone who is good with money? Like, how useful is that to you in your long-term journey? So I always say, and again, please don't think I'm judging anyone who is writing this. I have been through severe emotional trauma with relationships. I know what it's like if someone has ghosted you, or if you are not sure if you should continue to call them or contact them because they're acting strange. I do know how this feels, but the best question to always ask is, what do I need to know about the future of a relationship with this person? See how that then actually answers what you really want to know, which is this person for me? Like, am I just wasting my time? Knowing what someone feels and thinks about you is just going to confuse you more, especially, as I said, because you'll probably get 10 different answers. Everyone will interpret that differently. And that will just make you more distressed and more confused. So focus on the big picture, which is this person right for me? And try not to do yes, no. What do I need to know about pursuing a relationship with this person? And then if you get a whole lot of negative cards, then obviously it's going to be maybe not now, or no, not in the next 12 months. If you get some positive, then that's encouraging. Yes, this is part of your life cycle. Rather than trying to do your own head in and play guessing games with what someone thinks about you. And as I said, because there are just so many tarot cards that are really confusing when they answer these questions. And that actually speaks back to not every question in the world is meant to be answered by a tarot card. There are other questions that are meant to be answered by, psychic channeling or communicating with guides. Andrew, I got so much out of the love readings course. Oh, thank you. It was 100% worth it. I'm also seeing that question very often in almost every tarot community. I know, and I'm trying not to be teacher Sal. I'm trying not to jump in there and, interfere with people's journey, because I know how traumatic that journey is myself. But I'm almost like, please ask a different question and you'll get a better result, because you're going to get 20 different people giving you more different information. You might get your hopes up, you might get them dashed, and it's just an emotional head mess, really. So think about asking the bigger picture. What is it I want? Do I really want to keep seeing this person? Am I honest about myself? Do I really care about them? If so, okay, are they meant for me? That's a much better question. How will it unfold between us if I pursue this person? Rather than, guessing game carnival tricks with people, which is just going to do your head in. So I hope that's helped, as one of the big questions I suggest you avoid and reframe and rephrase. The second one is lost objects. I have spoken about this before, but again, it's the 78 tarot cards. There is probably, let's just say conservatively, 2,000-3,000 places you can lose something. You can lose something at a train station in the toilets. No tarot card will tell you that. You can lose something underneath your auntie's couch. No tarot card will tell you that. Those are things that are learnt through psychic messages. Those of you who are interested in opening up those channels, I do have courses on Udemy, like How to Be Psychic and Psychic Readings Intermediate Level, that will help you to develop those skills, but they're not answered in the tarot because there is no tarot card that says those things. So that's why when I see people doing it, maybe it does work for others and maybe there's just me that thinks that it's not workable, but I can't see when I've lost stuff, under my car seat, when I can't find my passport and it's in some crazy random place, that doesn't come through the tarot. There's not cards that often say behind the television, so those kind of things. So think about, looking at psychic development for that, like either tuning into guides and angels or even just tuning in through meditation. Even that is just tuning into your own guides and just saying all your own intuition and wisdom and asking to be shown or to hear a message or just putting it out there and trusting that it'll come back to you. So they are, for me, better ways of looking at lost objects. That's again, I see that question a lot, and I think it's one that's very limited with the tarot. I think you're going to be setting yourself up for more confusion than clarity. Now, the third one, again, and there might be some controversy here in the group around this. If this doesn't work for you, if you disagree with me, just take what works. But mediumship questions. People have often contacted me and said, how do I do a tarot reading? Hello, Green. How do I do a tarot reading for someone? Their father's just passed away and they want to know, what spread should I use if their father's just passed away? The first thing I will always say is that mediumship is an incredibly delicate and sensitive gift. And if you are not a professional medium, then I don't recommend you be helping people, especially if a deceased loved one has only just passed away. The trauma that people can experience when they have lost a loved one is just overwhelming. It is the most painful thing that we experience as human beings on this planet. To have an inexperienced tarot reader or someone who's only focusing on the tarot with no mediumship skills is going to get very confusing and it's also going to maybe potentially traumatize your client, because just say the deceased father is going through a bit of a hard time in transition and all the cards you get are things like the Tower or the Three of Swords or the Devil. Even imagine how that would feel if someone you love had passed away and someone pulls out tarot cards to say they're going through hell, basically. Like, that is not going to make you feel any better. It's going to make you feel worse. And as I said, it might not even be accurate, because really the craft of mediumship is something that professional mediums study quite intensely, and there's a process with it for calling in information from deceased loved ones. Now, this doesn't mean that some of you might say, but hey, I've done these readings before or had one. If you are already, as I said, an established medium, or you're confident in your mediumship skills, then yes, of course you can pull the tarot out. But again, keep in mind that a tarot reading is designed for the person who is the client's spiritual journey. Okay, it's not necessarily designed for other people's spiritual journeys. So you can do a reading for them about their grief journey. What do I need to know about my journey of grief of my deceased dad? Like, you can do that, but I would tread very, very carefully in intervening in grief situations. As I said, just be really gentle and delicate, unless you're completely utterly confident with the cards, you've been reading for a long time, and you know you can handle any situation where someone potentially might burst into tears in front of you, or get angry and hostile, and you make them psychologically and traumatized, like worse, basically. So just consider that. And those of you who go, but what if someone asks me, what do I say? Just say, look, this is probably a question that's better for a professional medium. We can ask about your journey and how you're going to heal in the next 12 months. But in terms of his journey, it's a mediumship question. So I hope that has helped everyone. Again, if you find you have done mediumship readings with tarot and it's worked perfectly, then disregard. But that's just my general rule of thumb. They're two different things, mediumship readings and tarot readings. So I hope that has helped. So now I'm going to talk about Annie. Those courses have been so helpful and amazing. Thank you. So now I'm going to talk about the Seven of Swords. Now, the Seven of Swords is one of those cards which, I will be very honest with you, I don't like seeing. I would rather not see it in any of my readings ever again, or my clients' readings. It's not a great card. Let's face it. It suggests deception. It suggests that someone's not being honest with you. It suggests, potentially hard times ahead. I will say the benefit of the Seven of Swords, though. I like to see what the light side of the benefit of the Seven of Swords, and that is the Seven of Swords overwhelmingly will speak to think on your feet. So don't trust everything around you is not necessarily a negative. Sometimes there are times when we are walking into a situation when we are potentially vulnerable. Like, say you've got quite toxic relatives and you have to spend Christmas with them, then that's just think on your feet and just be careful with what you share with others. And that's actually really healing, helpful, beautiful advice. It's not saying you're going to get hurt and lied to and cheated on, whereas most people, when the Seven of Swords pops up, thinks that's what's going to happen to them. Because yes, it can be associated with infidelity. It can be associated with, people lying to you. But it is also, if you look at that card and examine it through different decks especially, someone is, running away, clutching their thoughts in their thing, and they're kind of escaping, but they are having to think on their feet. They're having to act quickly and swiftly. And that's also what the card means. It means that your thought processes need to get really quick. You need to get really super logical. You need to not be too emotional. You need to really, again, just be wary. Something might be going on that you're not aware of, but it's not the end of the world. It's not a tower situation. It's just regard something with caution is what I would always say about the Seven of Swords. So please don't let it scare you if it comes up in your reading. Now, obviously, if someone says, should I buy this, and they get a Seven of Swords, that would indicate that maybe not everything's being revealed. If they still want to have free will to buy it, then okay, but please check everything, like get everything double, triple checked before you purchase it, because there could be something that hasn't been told and you might need to think on your feet and you might get outbid or something like that. So I hope that has helped anyone who struggles with the Seven of Swords and finds it a bit negative and is trying to look for the lighter side of. So now I'm going to talk about one of my number one business tips for those of you who want to run an online business. So many of you know I do an advanced tarot and psychic business program, which is my certification program, where you do a Zoom exam with me and I certify you, and that's on the Psychic Healing Academy. And I teach in that program everything from, how to set yourself up on YouTube, how to market yourself in a really heart-centered way so you don't feel like you're spamming or sleazy or it gets uncomfortable. But what I also teach in that course, and it's probably one of the most useful things in the course besides my private coaching sessions you get with me, is that I teach you how to save time. Because one of the things most people don't realize when they start an online course is that working online is, in my opinion, one of the most time-sucking things you can do on this planet. And that is because there are so many distractions. Facebook, constantly distractions. Instagram, constantly distracted. And things can take a long time to build and get your head around. And you can often end up just feeling exhausted that you maybe put 30, 40 hours online and not even got one client. So one little tip I want to give you that I talk about in my advanced program, there is a subscription. It's free. It's absolutely free, which makes it. And I've been using it free. There are paid versions, but I've been using it free now for nearly 10 years. A program that is called Asana, A-S-A-N-A. And Asana is incredible because what it does, basically you can either have things as like a big notepad or like a big whiteboard, or you can have it set as tasks. And it's very easy to learn and use, as I said, free. But everything you ever post on Facebook, everything you post on your website, everything you ever post anywhere and everywhere, you copy and paste it and put it in Asana under the categories, and it's always there. So I save so much time. I save 75% of my time every year because of Asana. So for example, just one quick example, commonly asked questions. So people go in on Udemy and they ask the same questions again and again, and I just have a template. I just go into Asana, okay, health readings questions, click, bang, bang. That's it. It takes me 5 seconds as opposed to rewriting it all over again. So discovering new ways to not reinvent the wheel is a really, really valuable skill as an online tarot reader, for any business reader, but for online, things like, like if you're posting pick a card or you're posting something on Instagram, then make sure you've got all the copy written somewhere so you don't have to keep writing it again and again and again. It just saves you so much time. Also, things like you keep lists of people that you want to follow up with. Say someone says, oh, I'd love to do a reading, but I can't now, but maybe next month. Then again, follow up, like take their details and follow up with it, those kind of things. When I'm planning my course, so for you, if you're planning a YouTube video that you want to do or a series that you want to do, then again, I use this whiteboard system that they have in Asana. It's, as I said, it's free, it's easy to log into, it's easy to find everything you need. It's got you can set up all different categories, and it, for me, is just an absolute game changer in the online world. You will save yourself so much time by having things that are already there that you can easily go in and cut and paste, and you don't have to sort of hunt around or start all over again or think, and then get too tired, or sometimes you might write an offer on Facebook for advertising for readings, and it's done really well, and you're like, that way, you can copy it and paste it and say that did well. But the ones that don't work, you can put those in there and say ones that didn't work well so you don't use them again. So just a little bit of record keeping, but what I call that time management and productivity. It makes it so much easier with Asana. So I hope, hello Indira. So I hope that's helped anyone who wants to start an online business and they're looking for what, in my opinion, is probably the greatest asset to online business running. That is Asana. So I'm going to now make the big announcement. I just want to do a big shout out to Melissa Herb. I don't know if she's going to watch this, but she has been asking me for this course. I'm going to say conservatively for maybe 4 or 5 years. Thank you for your patience, to everyone's patience. So I'm officially announcing that I will be releasing my reversals course this year, hopefully by Christmas, if not very early next year. Some of you might be saying, why is it taking you so long to do the reversals course? It is an epic course. It is probably going to be 10, 11, 12 hours long. And I knew it was going to take me up to 8 months to do it. And I just didn't have those 8 months in my schedule, especially with my advanced tarot program, because I certify people and I do private coaching and we do group coaching calls. So I knew, I was like, oh, how am I going to get this done? And there were other reasons with Udemy changing the pricing structures, and I was thinking maybe I'll just release it privately. But I am announcing, yes, it will go on Udemy. It might only be on Udemy for 2 or 3 months, and then I will do it through my own Psychic Healing Academy, but it will definitely be, I'd love it to be Black Friday. I'm not sure if it will, but I have started recording. It's making its process. I've done all the keynote slides and it's getting there. It's feeling like I'm feeling good about it. And I know it's another strange thing, but those of you who create courses or want to create courses in future, I'll just give you a little bit of a tip. Sometimes you just have, I guess, writer's block. and you're like, I just don't feel excited and inspired to do this. And it's taken me really till this year to just suddenly feel this overwhelming urge that I was really in love with the idea of doing it. And I've never been one of those people as a teacher who can just release a course because everyone says it's going to make me lots of money. It's always, for me, a creative process that I get excited about, and I have to want to do it. And so it hit me a few months ago, and I've started working through it, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it will be released. And you guys will be the first to know in this group. Those of you who have been with me a long time know I always release it first in the Tarot Mastery group. If you are on my email list as well for these tarot seminars, you will be getting it too with a discount as soon as it is released. Thank you, Diane and Annie and Linda. Thank you. Yes, it has been a long time coming. Thank you so much to everyone who has had the patience to wait for me to release it. It hasn't been easy, and it is. I'm warning you all in advance. It's not an easy course. Even I've sort of been like, oh my goodness, that's hard to explain. Just because reversals are complex. Reversals take on 2 aspects of the card, sometimes up to 5. They can take on the card that comes before, and they can also take on the darker version of the card itself. And so, the upside down version, things tipping upside down. So being able to integrate that and teach it is definitely complex, but I'm doing my best to make it as easy and palatable as possible. And as I said, I'm hoping Black Friday, maybe Christmas, but definitely, the end of January, it's going to be out. So yay, very excited about that. So I hope that has helped. I don't think I've missed anything, have I? Sometimes I do this, like I'm like, I'm going to talk about this, and then I don't talk about it. No, that's everything. If anyone has any questions for me, please pop them here and I will answer for you. And again, if you're watching the replay, it means you're going to be on YouTube. So do hit subscribe so that you never miss these. You don't have to worry about, getting emails for me, and you always know when they are coming out. And just put #replay. If you're here with me on Facebook, then I'll get back to you in the next couple of days. The YouTube can take a bit longer. But thank you everyone for joining me. If anyone's got any questions that they'd like to ask me about the tarot, this is the time to do it, and I'm happy to answer for you. Thank you to Annie and Indira and Diane and Green, Andrew, Jill, Marcy, Carlo. Thank you, and everyone else who came today. If you've got some questions, pop them in. Otherwise, I will bid you farewell, and I hope you all have a fabulous weekend. Those of you in Australia, it's our long weekend grand final for the football, so it's a big weekend. And no questions? Okay. I want to thank everyone for coming. As I said, keep in touch about the reversals course. I will be definitely notifying people more and more about it as I get closer. I'll always know about, a week or so before it's about to be released. So I'll send out a thing. Make sure your educational announcements are also on in your Udemy courses as well, because I don't send out things very often, but I'll send it through that as well. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.